Kyle Anderson of Bama Football on YouTube. Could I get a roll tide inside the comment box? I appreciate you guys being here. Good morning. Today is Monday. Today is March 10th. If you guys are out on spring break, I hope you guys are having an amazing time. Let me know where you're spring breaking from inside the comment box. If you're here, if you're posted up and it's a normal week for you, I appreciate it. Thank you so much for joining me on the program. Today we're going to recap Alabama's big basketball victory over Auburn. A way to end the regular season was absolutely magnificent. But as you know, in basketball, you just play more games and more games and more games. And that's the difference between like basketball and football. Is like you just beat Auburn, but guess what? You still have to play like 10 more games, right? So, and maybe even play maybe Auburn in the SEC championship game, right? We're also going to talk about some freshmen that have stood out, some transfers that have stood out, all that and more today on Bama Football on YouTube. I appreciate you guys. Yes, I am a little under the weather, okay? But the show must go on, all right? Who else is going to do the show if I don't do the show? All right, so I don't even know how long we'll do the show for today, but I'll try to get through it. So I appreciate you guys being here. All right, on Saturday, if you watch the show, Mark Sears hits a buzzer beater, right? To beat number 1 Auburn in overtime, 93-91. Did you think that he was going to hit that shot? I did. Anytime that Sears goes left, I mean, you can't stop him. I mean, he only had 9 points in the game, but quite a performance as Alabama goes to Auburn, a very challenging place to win at, and they're able to pull down a win in overtime. Look, I say this. I literally don't care where they're going to be seated in this basketball tournament. It's going to be hard regardless if you're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. The thing about it, though, is Alabama is so battle-tested. I mean, probably more battle-tested than anybody in the country, right? The great thing is the play of Grant Nelson. I mean, I think back to last year. And Grant Nelson has played well throughout this year. But last year against North Carolina, he was unbelievable in the tournament. And that's something even Coach Nate Oates said, right? You get that play of Grant Nelson during this time of year. I mean, he had 23 points and 8 boards. The best part of the game was probably when he dunked on that dude and then hit the crane. Everybody was mad about it from Auburn's side, but damn, like that is the type of mentality that this basketball team needs. I knew that they're going to play on fire against Auburn. They hate Auburn. Auburn hates them. It's one of the best rivalries, period, whether it's football, basketball. Love to see it. I have to say this as well. This Cliff Amore, I was tough on this guy, and I've been so. Against Auburn, he played fantastic. That was the best game that I think he's played all year. The big man, right? Amore had 15 points, 8 boards. The dude was 7 of 7 from the field, right? Yeah, we're going to get through it. I promise you. What's up, Carrick? I appreciate you guys. I'm going to do some shout-outs real quick. Anita, what's up? Daniel, I appreciate you being here. Chris from New Jersey, what's up? Ms. Careless, good morning to you. Jimmy Williams, Everyday American, what's up? When he hit that crane, that was great. Did you see even Bruce Pearl on the side? He was like telling the officials about the crane. Yeah, I said that already in the beginning. I'm a little under the weather. It's all right. Show must go on. We're good. It's just my time to suffer a little bit. It's all right. But it was good to see Amore playing really well. And I think Mark Sears coming through with 9 and the buzzer beater. Look, I said this before. Like, everybody out there, you guys, don't let anybody say anything bad about Nate Oates. There's no practice this week. They're on spring break. The football team's on spring break. Don't let anybody say anything bad about Nate Oates. Nate Oates, like, savor while he's here. I hope that he's here as long as he wants to be here, right? This is the guy that Alabama basketball needed for a long time. He's the best coach that's ever been here. And I know there's been other coaches that you guys are really high on throughout the course of history, but this is him. The way that he coaches, the blue-collar mentality, the guy's fiery. He's young. He's done an amazing job. So, I don't know if they're going to win the SEC tournament. I don't know, how far they'll go in this basketball tournament. But I'll tell you what, like, they have enough talent and enough depth to really make a run. We knew that. And if Clifford Moore can play as he did against Auburn, shit, who knows? Maybe they win this whole thing. I don't know. Here are a couple different odds to look at. Well, first of all, so with Alabama winning and I think Missouri losing, Alabama now still has a bye, and I'll go full screen on this. So here's what you're watching this week. Alabama football, they're off for spring break, but you have basketball, right? So Wednesday, the SEC basketball tournament starts. Games are on the left. Thursday, that's the second round, and then Alabama has a bye into the quarterfinals. But look, shit, they still play Kentucky, right? Let's just say they're probably going to play Kentucky. That's a tough win. That's a tough game. And then all the other teams that have byes as well, Auburn, Tennessee, Florida, all those teams beat Alabama already. This schedule is so hard. It's crazy. It is so challenging. Playing Florida in the semifinals is going to be hard. If you play, I don't know, Tennessee or Auburn in the finals, that game's going to be hard. I don't care where these guys are, end up in the tournament or whatever. It's just, hey, Nick, what's up, man? I appreciate you. You're fully recovered from surgery. That's what's up. Kid, you're good, bro. I got you, bro. All right, so here's a look at the SEC. This is from FanDuel. If you want to go see like all the odds and whatever, go to FanDuel. They have it set up. So here's to win the SEC tournament. Auburn at plus 150, Florida at plus 310, Alabama at plus 370, Tennessee at plus 500. If we move on, this is to reach the Final Four. You have Duke at minus 160, Auburn at 140, Florida, plus 140. Bama there at 200. So you imagine if this team makes back-to-back runs at the Final Four, and then to win the entire thing, Bama at plus 1,100, Duke at plus 330, Auburn plus 380, and then Florida plus 750. Let me ask you this. Based off what you've seen from this, those odds do. They're not the best odds. Let me ask you this inside the comment box. Do you think that this team has enough to get to the Final Four? Type Y for yes. Type N for no inside the comment box. Y for yes, N for no inside the comment box. It was amazing to see, like, the fans, how upset they were for Auburn, right? And was it Alabama football that tweeted out, like, Toomer's Corner that was, like, that they haven't posted, that they hadn't rolled? All right, everybody feels that Alabama's going to make the Final Four. I do too. It's going to be much easier once they get into the tournament. Once they get out of SEC play, my goodness. All right. So as I mentioned, the Alabama football team is on spring break, right? So they'll be back in action next week. There's a really good article by Alex Scarborough of Bama 247 where he interviews LT Overton, right? And LT Overton, I didn't know this, that he had over 30 quarterback pressures this last year, which I thought was amazing. But he only had 2 sacks, right? So in the article, he says this. I recommend you go in to read it. Bama 247. I feel like I left a lot on the table last year, especially sack-wise, he said. Pressures are cool and all, but we know what guys want to see. Did you feel at times that Alabama's pass rush could have been a little bit more effective last year? I felt sometimes like, wow, we're so happy that LT Overton was putting pressure on the quarterback. It seemed that Alabama kind of lacked pass rush. It was really weird. But with that said, they did force a lot of turnovers. Like if you look collectively at how many turnovers they had, man, they had a ton of interceptions, a ton of forced fumbles, right? Man, I'm just really happy that LT Overton's coming back. And I think when you look at that bandit position, Coach Kane Womack has talked a lot about, or not a lot about, but he's mentioned Kelby Collins. But they've had some really good things to say about Keon Keeley, right? And Jordan Renard. There's a lot of depth at that position. There's a lot of depth on the defense. It's interesting. We've only had 3 days, but I feel like we do know a good amount about Alabama's defense. I would imagine that LT Overton, he stays healthy. He has a season that we expect him to have. I would imagine that he's a first-round pick in 2026. That's how good he is. Carlos inside the comment box says LT just got to finish. Yeah, very, very good. Very talented player, man. And I've been really happy with what I've seen behind Tim Keenan, too. I mean, I spoke last week about the rise of Jeremiah Beeman. Edric Hill's even got some praise, too. And Steve Mbumwa, right? Who's now here with the defensive tackle. He looks great. Dylan's pumped up about Cam Calhoun at that Husky. Man, he looks like he's having a fantastic spring so far. All right. Here's some freshmen. Just, a quick freshman report. I appreciate you guys being here. Other than, and I went through the pronunciations this morning. I was listening. If you go to Alabama football and you go to their official roster, they have the official pronunciations of all of the players. And for 12 here, our freshman quarterback, I've been saying Keelan. It's Keelan. Keelan Russell. They call him Key, but it's Keelan Russell. All right, so remind me as we continue to talk more about, the freshman players, whatnot. It's Keelan. I thought it was Keelan. It's Keelan. Let me ask you this. Inside the comment box, based on what you've seen, based on what you read, name a freshman other than Keelan Russell that has stood out to you. A true freshman. Name a true freshman inside the comment box other than Keelan Russell that has stood out to you. I know, Daniel, right? I just call him Key. Well, they call him Key at practice, so I'll just refer to him as Key. What's up, Alex? Good morning to you, bro. I got two of them. Two of them, and I mean, you guys already named them inside the comment box. Anita mentioned it, and so did Byron. Oh, and then I've been saying Latsier Brooks. It's yeah, he's absolutely been like burning it up. Lazier. It's Lazier. So I'll have to continue to work on that one too. Lazier. But let's just start right here. I threw up a couple freshmen. I'm going to do this for the transfers as well. All right, AK Deer, he came in, and while that running back room is really full, next year, when you look at the running back room, and I have no idea how many opportunities you're going to get this year because you have Jan Miller and, Richard Young, who I think will be sufficient enough to be a 1-2 combo. But AK Deer, I don't think is too far out. I mean, he's ultra talented. I've been hearing some really good things about him already, honestly. which I guess isn't surprising because you always have freshmen to come in, but I think it's exciting when you look to the running back room overall. And look, the running back that they had, Turbo Rogers, remember he was committed to Alabama? I honestly think that A.K. Deere head-to-head is better than Turbo Rogers. That's no disrespect to, I mean, some players are just better than others. But I think Alabama got its running back that they needed for the future. A.K. Deere, hearing really good things about him. All right, you guys already mentioned it. Dejoun Lee, I mean, holy cow. How are you going to keep somebody like this off the field? And when I talk about the depth from the defensive side, my goodness, he is having a fantastic spring. There's been 3 practices. The guy is already making a name for himself. 6'4", 200 pounds. You already know what Kane Womack said in terms of the type of corner that he is, right? Long, rangy. Wow, what a spring he's had. Alabama does return its 2 corners, right? So you have Sabian Brown and Damani Jackson. But man, and that's why it's also, you have to kind of protect these guys from that transfer portal on April 15th or pay them or whatever. I don't know. I don't know why I have like this really high excitement level for long rangy corners. I don't know. Number 8, Justin Hill. My goodness. I still can't believe Alabama was able to get him out of the state of Ohio. Have you seen him out there? Is that wolf position? And that wolf position is ultra talented. And again, like me talking about the guys, I have no idea if any of these guys are even going to play this year. But I will say that Coach Kalen DeBoer's freshman class, pretty impressive already from the jump. The thing about this, Coach Kalen, these are like Coach Kalen DeBoer's guys. These aren't Saban guys. These are Coach Kalen DeBoer guys. And these, even just this 4 right here, there's, 25 of them or whatever that came in with this class. But just like, look at just these 4. That's how, so when you look at kind of the future, and if you give Coach Kalen DeBoer time and these guys stay here and they develop, shoot. I mean, that is something to really get excited about. All right, couple of other freshmen that we'll talk about. Lazier Brooks. I'm sure, Alabama, he seemed like every time Alabama football releases some highlights on its social media account, it seems like Lazier Brooks is like going up to make a spectacular catch. And I get it. They show what they want to show. Do these guys drop passes at practice? Of course. But they also shared a photo of him, and I think it was the great Clint Lamb. By the way, he does a really good job. Him and old Mick Gillespie. Man, those guys are solid. They're building up a force, man. Part of that next round crew. I think those guys are the best in the business. I really do. 100%. Pointed out that Lazier Brooks was repping with the first team. Because they had Ty Simpson out there, and then I think you could see like Isaiah Horton, and then in at the slot is Lazier Brooks. Man, that's what I'm saying. Like, whether you look at the last 4 freshmen that I showed you or these freshmen, like these are all Coach Kalen DeBoer's guys. Very exciting. Who do you think will play slot for Alabama this year? Post your slot position starter inside the comment box. I don't think it'll be Lazier yet. Will he play this year? I don't know. You know who I really don't know about? It's like, what are we going to do with Bach? Like, how are we going to get the football in Bach's hands? And it's like, Lazier Brooks, like, how are you going to get all these guys on the field? Marshall Pritchard, I haven't really seen any footage of him, but I wanted to point him out because he added about 20 pounds from the time he got here to where he's at now. So you're looking at a 6'5", 235-pound freshman that was really productive. He listed himself on X as a wide receiver and a tight end. Oh yeah, and for you, we have a lot of people jumping in and out. Yeah, I'm under the weather, but it's okay. You know, the show must go on, so I appreciate it. And then Michael Carroll, I listed him because he's getting some opportunities at tackle. Will he be starting at tackle? I don't know. I don't think so. It doesn't seem like that, but it seems like right now Alabama football is trying a lot of guys that are interior offensive linemen at that tackle position. Bama Boy has Ryan Williams at slot. I might put Ryan Williams at the slot as well. You got a lot of mismatches at the slot position, and I think Ryan Williams can be that guy. I like Horton on the outside. I like Jeremy Bernard on the outside, and then I put Ryan Williams in my fourth wide receiver. I mean, pick your guy. All right, here are the transfers. I don't know why I was watching Isaiah Horton highlights. It came up on my YouTube feed. And no, Max, I haven't been back to New Mexico since December. I've been just posted here in Tuscaloosa. But it came up on my feed. Isaiah Horton, right? And so I'm watching him, and this is how I feel about him. Look, is he like I feel he's a possession wide receiver, and that's not a slight to him at all. I feel he just like Ryan Williams is an ultra playmaker. Get him the football as many times as possible. I feel that Isaiah Horton, you get him on the outside, he can run back to the football. He's 6'4". He can create mismatches inside the red zone. He's good coming across the middle in red zone because of his bigger body. Very talented. Very talented. Completely different wide receiver than Ryan Williams. I think he's got that height, and then you have Jeremy Bernard, who I think is also a little bit more than balanced. I think he has a little bit extra as well, but nobody's like Ryan Williams. Then you have like Rico Scott, who I think could be a slot position player. Haven't seen too much of Jalen Mbakwe. I don't know, how they'll utilize him. Cole Adams is a slot position wide receiver. Bubba Hampton, he's out. Jalen Hell, how are you going to use Jalen Hell, right? But in turn, I do feel that Isaiah Horton will be a starter from the jump. Hey, Bailey, I think that's a really good point out. Isaiah Horton is going to get you a first down time and time again. I think he's in that 40 to 50 type reception window for this year. Yeah, and that's what I'm thinking, like, with that wide receiver group, Dylan, is I don't know how they will be able to figure out how to get Jalen Mbakwe out on the field. You might have to go to special teams and just have him return some kicks and punts, put him in the wide receiver rotation. But the wide receivers right now, especially with Lazier Brooks doing so well, and I don't know this. I don't know. The rumor was that Alabama paid all this money to keep Jalen Mbakwe. We have no idea if that's true or not. We do know that I do know that there was other teams trying to poach him. That's true. How did you get him to stay? I don't know. But right now, how do you get him on the field? And even if you were to switch him back to the defensive side, your two starting corners come back, and it looks like Cam Calhoun. Let's just call it what it is. It looks like this guy is about to lock up the Husky position. And Daniel, I think that's right, man. I think that Brian Williams and Bach, it's like their package deal, right? You got to figure out how to keep those guys. But I don't know. I want to see how they can figure out how to try to put Bach out in the field, but I don't know. Super talented young man, but that it just shows you the amount of talent that's here, right? Let me ask you this. Whether you're a 24/7 person, or On3, or Rivals, ESPN, I don't know, whoever, type Y inside the comment box if you have heard really good things about Cam Calhoun so far. It's been 3 days. Have you heard good things about Cam Calhoun? I have. This guy's came in. Coach K. Womack said he has some juice to him. Melon Jesus has him at the right tackle. I've already heard really good things about Cam Calhoun. Man, and you look at these three transfers that I have up top. If Alabama was to play a game this coming Saturday, they would all be starters. Cam Calhoun. And I also heard, this is interesting. Help me out. I also heard that Bray Hubbard has played a little bit of Husky, or like people have seen him at Husky, which I thought was really interesting because I was like, wow, if they put Bray Hubbard at Husky, then who would they put at the other safety spot? Would that mean Keon Sabb and maybe Azay Mincy? That's just what I heard. I was like, wow, that was really interesting to me. But I think when it's all said and done, I think it'll be Xavier Brown, Damani Jackson, Cam Calhoun at the Husky, Keon Sabb, and Bray Hubbard. And I think the next defensive backs to play will be Zay Mincy and I guess Dejon Lee, right? All right, we're over here on Nakai Hill-Green. He already looks the part. Him and Justin Jefferson have looked great. Now, when you watch the footage that Alabama football sends out or that the team reporters have out, Justin Jefferson is in a black jersey, meaning that he's limited this spring. Nakai Hill-Green is now number 41. I think that was the same number that Justin Okoronkwo had. Or Sterling Dixon, one of the two that transferred out. Anyways, this guy looks fantastic too. So Coach Kalen DeBoer's done a pretty good job in the transfer portal. You look at the guys last year that he brought in, and some of these guys that we've just had small glimpses to see. I think these guys get a lot of playing time. Now, what the storyline with Nakai Hill-Green is, I don't know what happened to Justin Jefferson. Like if he got hurt or whatever, it might just be something small. But when Deontay Lawson is healthy, and Justin Jefferson will be wearing the green dot, or I'm sorry, Deontay Lawson, green dot. Green dot is basically who calls the defense. And then Justin Jefferson, and then you have Nakai Hill-Green coming off too. Again, the depth, right? Ooh, Carlos has Mincy at Husky. Mincy's another long, wide-range body type, right? Not as tall as Dejon Lee, but kind of a bigger secondary player. Jaden Hobson down here, out of Hillcrest, here in Tuscaloosa. Originally went to Mississippi State and then went to South Alabama. I don't know all the particulars, but he's back on Alabama. He went to Mississippi State as an offensive lineman. Here in Tuscaloosa, he's a tight end. I think the offensive coordinators, Ryan Grubb, has said that the tight end spot is a little bit thin right now. Jaden Hobson, I haven't seen footage of him or anything, but I think that is interesting that they brought him in to the roster, and that he's a tight end. Who would have thought? Hey, Chasten Bailey inside the comment box says, Kyle, you're going to like Hill Green. I watched him last year at Colorado. Aggressive, makes a lot of plays. Yeah, I think so too, man. You know, I had on another show that I did, he had 82 tackles last year. I'm talking about Hill Green up here for Colorado. And before that, he was at Charlotte. And before that, he was at Michigan, I think. You know, Cam Calhoun was at Michigan too. He was at Michigan and then went to Utah. And the Michigan connection is connected to Courtney Morgan, right? Courtney Morgan was at Michigan, so he has a lot of ties to a lot of these guys. Okay. So I don't know, you know, if Jaden, I don't even know if this guy's on scholarship, to be honest. Let me ask you this at the offensive line. And look, the next two players I'm talking about is Cam Calhoun and Arquel Nugum. Do you think that Cam Dewberry, and we haven't really heard too much about him so far, do you think that he'll be a starter when all is said and done here at Alabama at that left guard position? Type Y inside the comment box if you think so. What's up, Hobbs? I see you inside the comment box. Good morning to you, bro. Drew inside the comment box. Kyle, you think Daniel Hill could work at tight end? No, I don't. You know, he's a running back. He's 240 pounds. He looks great. Again, the depth. Can he stay patient? I mean, let's just fast forward to 2026, and we're talking spring football. I would imagine that the running backs next year would be Richard Young and Daniel Hill. That's amazing, right? And then probably like AKD or Kevin Riley. But I do like Daniel Hill's game. You know, there was a little bit of time where I felt, and I think that Daniel Hill was picking up more per carry, like per yards per carry, than Richard Young. I don't know where Cam will be, because you have a lot going on in that guard position, right? You have like Cam, you have Michael Carroll, you have Geno Vandermark, who seems like a reserve, but a quality reserve. Casey Poe, right? Casey Poe was actually playing tackle, or at least getting some opportunities at tackle in this first week of spring practice. Eli Pond, what's up, man? Good morning to you, bro. So when Alabama had, you know, their practice and the first offensive line went out there, what's up, Show 44? The guys who were working with the first team offense, and these are just names. This is not. I wouldn't even think if Alabama had a game this Saturday that this would be it. But this is who was working on the offensive line with the first team. Arquel Nugum was at left tackle. Remember, Caden Proctor's limited with the black jersey. Olas Alanin was at guard. Parker Brailsford was at center. Jaden Roberts was at right guard. And Casey Poe was at right tackle, right? So that's the way that Alabama's offensive line looked last week. I think the only starters that you really had were Parker Brailsford and Jaden Roberts. But all those other guys like Arquel Nugum, I think is, you know, they're trying to get him up to speed. Nah, I think it's a little bit more than allergies at this point in time, but I mean, it should just a couple days. Hopefully I can get past it. Drew has Jackson Lloyd. Yeah, for whatever reason, we seem to forget about Jackson Lloyd. Thanks for bringing his name up. Dylan points out that Arquel Nugum has extremely long arms. He's a transfer from Ball State, in case you didn't know. This was these are the transfers we're talking about. I don't think it's the hantavirus. Hope not. If you've been following that whole Gene Hackman, right, and his wife from Santa Fe, they passed away. I think they said that his wife passed away from the hantavirus. That was a weird story. I didn't understand like all their parameters to, Gene Hackman and his wife, and it was like a weird timeline. I have no idea. But again, Alabama football, they are on spring break this week, so still have our show through the back end and continue to cover news as it happens. Remember, Alabama basketball in action. Let's see, I've got the tournament lined up here. They're in action on Friday, playing the winner of, well, they got to figure it out, right? Oklahoma plays Georgia, and then they play Kentucky, and then the winner of that will play Alabama. I'll leave it open for some open dialogue for a little while. We still have a little bit of time. What's on your guys? Yeah, Hackman was 95. Post your questions, your comments. I mean, pretty much open table inside the comment box. I'll talk about what you guys want to talk about. Hackman had heart issues. Well, I mean, and dementia was shit. 95 years old. I mean, God, man. I didn't know he was 95 years old. What's your favorite Gene Hackman movie? I guess mine would be, Hoosiers, right? Gene Hackman movies. Man, I didn't know he was 95 years old. Yeah, Hoosiers. I don't know. Who's coming to A-Day? Are you guys going to come to A-Day? I don't know. Like, what we're going to... I mean, no. So the whole thing is, and I'm sure you guys have seen this too, is like they can't really have A-Day because of like poaching. I don't know. It's so sad, this whole A-Day deal. Like, fans deserve to be able to watch on TV A-Day. But if you can't come in to support Alabama football, I mean, it's going to be free. Carlos is coming in. That's what's up, Carlos. Daniel will be here too. Okay. Official CJ Jackson has Unforgiven. So, I mean, at least Alabama football hasn't changed A-Day into like a combine or I don't know. And maybe they'll have, spring games in the future. Yeah, it just won't be televised, but I think they'll just I think it sounds like it won't be too far from what it was last year, which is just basically kind of like a practice. No, I hate to do this to you guys. Oh yeah, Mr. Yeah, Michael. I hate to do this to you guys, but who is a better actor? Or who do you like more, Hackman or Clint Eastwood? How old is Clint Eastwood? Clint Eastwood age. Whoa. So Clint Eastwood is 94. Gene Hackman's 95. Wow. We talked about a couple different shows. See, okay, wow. People going with Hackman. Wow. Yeah, I liked. I mean, each of them, right? Michael Michael wrote it inside the comment box. Says Hackman. I met Clint Eastwood in Carmel, California. Wow, that's wild. Wow, a lot of people giving up Hackman. Yeah, that's amazing. All right, fam. All right. Well, as news happens, I got you covered right here on Bama Football on YouTube. Thanks for joining me today. A little under the weather, but push through it. These are uploaded to Spotify, Apple Podcasts later in the day. Of course, you can join our Facebook page, Alabama Crimson Tide on YouTube. Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much. Keep you posted. If not, I'll catch you guys tomorrow for the show or, different videos that are uploaded. But I appreciate you guys being here. Thank you so much for interacting with me this morning right here on Bama Football on YouTube. All right. Coming to you from beautiful Tuscaloosa, Alabama, Kyle Anderson, Bama Football on YouTube. See you, fam.